thanks to all of you that joined us for tonight's on-campus residence and housing webinar. My name's Aaron. We're going to officially do some introductions here with all of our staff and panelists in a second. But just to start, I'll just go over a few housekeeping notes just to let you know kind of how this evening is going to work. So obviously all of us, yourselves included, are working from home or at home right now. We love to do these types of events in person, and we wish we could do them in person right now, but hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll see all of you on campus and in our residence facilities as well. But with that being said, we may run into some tech issues this evening, whether it's internet or my daughter crying in the background or dogs barking or something crazy happening. So just bear with us. We appreciate your patience if you do have any issues in the background, but we'll continue on and assist you with the webinar. The way this evening is going to work, we're going to do a full presentation around our resident services at both of our campuses. We're going to talk about lots of different information, but we do want to make it as interactive as possible. So if you do have questions throughout the presentation, feel free to use the Q&A function through Zoom. You can also put some comments in the chat box, but just in terms of moderating the question and answers, it's great if you use the Q&A function just so we can track them. Myself, Jess, and some of our other resident staff will be answering questions throughout the session. And there are no bad questions, so feel free to ask away. Like I said, we want this to be as interactive as possible for you guys and really give you all the information that you need related to all things residents. So yeah, like I said, use the Q&A and we'll take questions here in just a second. This session will be recorded just so we can share it with our future prospective students as well. All of our panelists and attendees will also be muted as well. So like I said, feel free to use the chat, but nobody will be on camera or have their mic open during the session. So my name is Aaron Watson. I'm an undergraduate recruitment officer here at Lakehead University. My role at Lakehead is assisting prospective students, whether they're coming from Ontario or Canadian high schools, colleges or universities or mature students applying to any of our Lakehead campuses. So if you do have questions about all things Lakehead, feel free to ask away. I'll drop my email in the chat during the presentation just so you guys can follow up with me after this evening if you have more questions, and I'd be happy to give you a hand. I'll turn it over to Jess to introduce herself and then our residence panelists.
Hi everyone, welcome. Very excited to be here with all of you this evening. My name is Jessica and I'm also an undergraduate recruitment advisor supporting prospective students and applicants from all over Canada, and definitely looking forward to answering all of your questions tonight. I will be behind the scenes, so please don't hesitate to use the Q&A. I'm looking forward to chatting with you all. With that, I will hand it over to our panelists this evening.
Hello, everybody. I'd like to thank you for coming out and participating in tonight's this evening's webinar. I'm Lynn Fortney, and I'm the Resident Services Manager at the Orillia campus, and I'm very much looking forward to answering all of your questions tonight. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Denton. I'm one of the residence area coordinators at the Thunder Bay campus. I'm very excited to tell you all about housing options and what residence life is like in Thunder Bay. So please ask away, and I'm happy to chat.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shannon Foster, and I'm the Director of Resident Services for both the Thunder Bay and Orillia campus. And like Michelle and Lynn said, we're looking forward to speaking with you this evening.
Awesome, thanks guys, appreciate it. So we will get things started here. Like I said, feel free to start dropping some of those questions in as we follow along using the Q&A, and we'll have some fun tonight. So obviously, it's a tricky time. It's been a very tough year for everybody, across Canada with the pandemic and everything around COVID-19, but it's still a time to get excited about post-secondary and really starting your post-secondary career. And hopefully that's starting your adventure here with us at Lakehead University. Whether you're a student that's already applied to Lakehead, you've accepted your offer of admissions already, or you're just looking for information around Lakehead and residence, lots of great opportunities at all of our campuses. And obviously we're going to focus a little bit more on residence here tonight, but we're happy to field questions about anything you may have Lakehead related as we go through this evening. If you're interested or applied to Lakehead University, obviously you're looking for a university that's a little bit far from ordinary. You're looking for a university where you can kind of step outside of the crowd. You're looking for kind of that smaller campus, smaller classroom environment. And that's really something that we pride ourselves with here at Lakehead University. 90% of our classes have fewer than 60 students. So it doesn't matter if you're applied to an environmental science program like some of these students, business, criminology, concurrent education. You're going to have a lot of one-on-one and a lot of hands-on programming with your faculty and students in your program. All of our programs at Lakehead have some sort of experiential learning components where you can really get outdoors and learn through doing, which is kind of the fun part about university and post-secondary. And we are a research-focused university as well. This past year, we were ranked #2 in all of Canada for primarily undergraduate research. And the 5 previous years, we were actually ranked #1 in undergraduate research, which we're happy about. So there's lots of great unique opportunities for you to, like I said, work with your faculty one-on-one, get some hands-on experience related to your programs, and really set yourself up for success when you get into the job market after graduation. Now, tonight's obviously focused on residents, and hopefully joining us is a future Thunderwolf, which is our mascot here at Lakehead. If you're looking at something like residence, I always tell prospective students about this, but the residence experience at Lakehead is a little bit unique in that we are, quite far for a lot of students to attend our campuses that are outside of kind of our local demographics, our local population. So for students that are looking at residence, they're typically coming from far distances, whether you're coming from maybe Southwestern Ontario and London, Hamilton, the GTA, maybe you're coming from Eastern Ontario, closer to Ottawa. We have hundreds of students that attend both campuses from all over the province and really all over Canada. So I know if you're kind of nervous, maybe moving away for the first time from home, maybe going far away and stepping out of your comfort zone to attend university, that can be a bit of a scary thing. But it's a really fun experience kind of doing that and kind of, getting that newer experience, traveling, getting into a new environment. Everybody's got those first week jitters when you're kind of moving into residence that first week. And that's really where the fun comes in. You really kind of get integrated into the Lakehead community. And I know Shannon and everyone else here on our panel will mention that as they discuss residence. So I've kind of talked enough about it. I'll kind of turn it over to our experts. But like I said, it's an opportunity and a time to get excited for residence and your post-secondary experience. So welcome. And now we'll turn it over to our panelists.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome introduction. And you're so right about making those connections. I myself am originally from Scarborough in Toronto, and you would be surprised. I say I'm from Toronto, and we have people who are like, oh, what part of Toronto? And they say, oh, I'm from Burlington, oh, I'm from Hamilton. And the conversation just creates all these connections right off day one. So we're going to talk about those connections. We're going to talk about living on campus. We're going to talk about the perks of it and go into those facilities and get some of those nitty-gritty details out for you as well. So living on campus, it is that convenient aspect of coming to university. You have so much to learn when you're coming as a first-year student. Maybe this is the first time you're moving away from living at home. Maybe this is the first time you've ever traveled outside of the city that you're traveling from. So having everything on campus where you live and you're going to study and you're going to eat as well as your social makes it very easy of a transition, and that's what we're really here to help you with. Everything is within walking distance, and we're going to show you how close campus really is and what that looks like a little later in the presentation. You're going to build those lifelong connections right from day one. When we talk ResLife, we'll talk about how they get you involved through their programming. We're going to talk about how it starts really on that move-in day when you see them and they help you move into your room right when you get here. And you're going to make those connections that are not just within your program. You're going to meet people from all over the world. You got people from Ontario, you have people from across Canada, and our international student population is also continuing to grow with Lakehead as well, which is awesome. Plus, there's tons and tons of leadership opportunities right where you're living and right where you're studying. So you can work on campus, you can volunteer on campus, right where you're sleeping, you're eating, and you're having your activities. And then safety and security. And we're going to talk about the Residence Life team and how that works into play, and as well as with our campus security, because you have someone available and on call for you 24/7, whether you're living in Thunder Bay or at the Orillia campus. So here we take our first look. So we're going to look at the Thunder Bay campus. This is Bartley residents. This is primarily our first year residents for those students who are coming directly from high school. I'm the residence area coordinator for Res Hall. So this really is my pride and joy to help support those students who are transitioning into that first year of university. They're figuring out how they're doing it. And we're going to go into what these houses look like and what comes with it. And I'm going to talk about houses. So you'll see that there's 9 houses of the 3-tiered buildings that are all connected by the above ground tunnel. And each of those houses are where you're going to start your Lakehead identity on residence. You're going to have a house mascot, you're going to have house colors, and each of those houses really start that additional Lakehead pride in conjunction with our main campus orientation and other events that will go on. And then right above is the apartment. So we're gonna take another view, and you're gonna see all of the residence amenities that we have for you, because you don't have to just live on campus your first year. You can live on campus your entire university career here in the Thunder Bay campus, which is a very unique experience. So after that first year, you can transition to those apartments and the townhouse living, and we'll look at what that looks like as well. So I mentioned it's close and convenient, and here it is with our beautiful sleeping giant right in the background. This is campus. This is it. So we have our residences on the right. We have our Bartley residence, which is kind of in the trees. So your view in your room might just be the river. It might just be the trees and that beautiful nature. Or you might be in that townhouse grouping. That's also in that encompassed with the trees and forest around it, and our apartments. Down over to the left, within walking distance, is our main campus. We call this our main campus. That's where all of our classrooms are. That's where all the labs are. That's where our cafeterias are. And then over the river, over our little bridge, you're going to get your athletics facilities. So you don't need a car when you get here. I certainly didn't have a car when I came up from Scarborough. I flew up. I arrived with my suitcases and I made this home, and everything is convenient. It's within walking distance. And then everything in the city is also not very far. You'll see we're not secluded. We're not out in the fields. We're right where all of the amenities are in town as well. And one more view that we have, this is just the opposite side, because we do have an additional 3rd set of townhouses, and that might be more appealing for those mature students or faculty of education students. You see it's really close within walking distance of faculty of ed, so if you're here for your teaching degree. But again, it's still right there for all of main campus as well. And it's all together, and it has all the same access to the amenities provided. So now we're going to look at what residence is. We're going to look at all the facilities and what comes with your room and what that looks like. So this is our Bartley front location. This is our main front desk for all of our residents, whether you're in Bartley residence, apartments, or townhouses. This is where we will have our central desk for things like keys, for general questions. Maybe you're getting some parcels or some online shopping, or you maybe got your textbooks delivered here. This is where you're going to pick it up. This is where you're going to go, and it's your main location for that. We also have card operated laundry, so you'll be able to access a machine to top up your laundry card right here in the front entrance. So right here we're into the rest hall. So like I mentioned, there's those 3-floor buildings, and that's your residence house. There's about 30 rooms in a house. You're gonna have 2 residence life staff. We'll talk about that a little bit later though. So you and your fellow housemates are going to have the option between a single and a basic single room. The biggest difference with these rooms is size. You're still going to get a very similar amenities provided for you, because we make our rooms move-in ready. And we're going to show you a picture of what that looks like. Like I said, I told you I flew up here. I didn't drive up here. I didn't have furniture, because we provide all that for you. So you have your bed provided, All of our rooms have mini fridges, beautiful long big desks that some of them might look out onto that river and those forest views. And the single room has that double closet. So you're just getting that additional space, and that might be your preference. Maybe you do want a little more space, or maybe you're like, I like having a little bit of a cozier option. I just want my own space where I can study, because you do have other spaces in the house that I'll touch on in a second as well. So these are our two rooms. My biggest advice for anyone who knows, yes, I very much would like a single room. As soon as you've decided Lakehead's for you, and as soon as you've decided residence is for you, get that residence application in to put in that option that you would prefer. And that's my biggest advice that I can give you for that. When we say that there's a basic single and a single room, the other options you have in your house, in every single residence house, is common spaces for you to study with your friends. So you have your own room. We don't have roommates on the Thunder Bay campus for res halls. You're not sharing your personal bedroom space. That is your room. And now we're looking here at the Bartley single, just a better view of that. That is all your personal space. Some students like this to have study buddies over. If you were to choose the single room with it, we do have lounges on second floor where students like to hang out. There's a common room TV. You can have events in there, watch movies, a little social. We also have a study room located on the first floor for you as well, and that's accessible for every single person in that house. This is a great view. This is one of the rooms right here in our residence. And this is what it looks like when you move in. This is the furniture that's provided for you. We have wireless internet all throughout our residences. I think that the only update we're going to have for this is we no longer have our phones in our room. We're finding that students are opting in for that wireless connection, or their phone plans are just so good now that they're not utilizing their room phones. So we're going to work on that. COVID's kind of put a little extra photos on the brakes for us, but everything you see in this room furniture wise is provided. Lots of storage space, lots of space for your stuff, your personal items, to really make it yours. Again, just another view. This is the single room. So this is the more spacious of the two options. Not shown in this photo is the two closets directly behind you. So that is our res halls spaces. That is your first year accommodations. When you're coming in, the biggest selection is your room size for your personal preference. All the amenities will be the same for you. Now, after your first year, you can transition up to your apartments or your townhouses. And these are more for our upper year students who are still having that community aspect. You're still meeting people, you're still involved, and all of our residence life supports are still provided for you. You're just living in an apartment or a townhouse. So now you have your roommates. You can pick your roommates, or you can make new friends, whatever option you wish to have. And we'll look at kind of the layout of what that looks like. So your apartments and townhouses, we put them on the same because it's the same amenities provided for you with a couple little differences. So I'll talk about that. So whether it's the apartment or the townhouse, there's 4 bedrooms per unit. So you and 3 other friends, again, you can choose those friends, or we can select you with some and you can make some new friends, are living in this unit together. You still have your own bedroom. So it's a single bedroom. We provide the kitchen space for you. In your apartments, you will have 2 washroom options. So there's a full bath with a shower, a toilet, and a sink and a tub. And then there is also a second one with just a toilet and a sink. That's the biggest difference for rooms that are provided. In your townhouses, you only have 1 full piece bathroom. But in the townhouses, you have 2 floors. So there's perks with both, and it really depends on what your personal living style is. I love the townhouses personally, for there's a big sliding glass door in the main floor, and you can open it up and we have wildlife and the deers might come say hi, or maybe you just want to sit out back and have your coffee in the morning before you go to class. And then the apartments have a lounge space on the middle where if you want to go make friends or you want to watch TV with other units, you can do that in a common space. So both options have really great perks with them depending on what living style best suits you. Again, this is a look. So we saw our apartments. They're the 3-tiered buildings. We like 3-tiered buildings here on residence in Thunder Bay. Our townhouses are too. So you're essentially getting that townhouse. I call it like adulting with training wheels, or residents with training wheels. We're kind of teaching you and helping you transition with those roommates, and if you're having issues, we're here to support you. And that's where Res Life really comes into factor. And that's what I love about residents, and that's why I'm still in the role I am, to support students in a Res Life aspect, because Res Life adds that little extra and really makes you feel like you're at home, and makes this your home for you as well. So in Res Life, we have 2 positions on our Res Life team. So we have our house presidents and our resident assistants. And these are 2 student staff that are living in your community, whether it's a Bartley house, whether it's an apartment floor or a townhouse section. And they're here to see you be successful, support you in anything, provide answers to questions that you might have, and provide some amazing programs that really makes your experience unique and exceptional. Erin mentioned at the beginning, some of you are going to be traveling a very far way to make Lakehead your home, and we know that. So we're not programming Monday to Friday. We have activities 7 days a week. One of our more popular ones is our resident sports that happens on Saturdays, where we provide intramural sports house to house. Some of them, sports include Quidditch, and with your house name, it's a very Harry Potter-esque. We have our house points and our house cup, and do it what you wish, but it's just totally fun and awesome. And these are the house presidents, are those fun coordinators for you. They are that student support for you, and they're the ones that if you're like, I want to go help hike Mount McKay, one of the local landmarks, they'll help make it happen. And it probably won't be too costly, if at all, because you're paying that activity fee for those supports. Maybe the whole house wants to watch something on television and have some snacks with it and make it a big event night. Sure, we'll bring that for you. So that's kind of your house presidents. Those are the people you see right in the screen on the black jackets. And then you see the blue jackets. Those are our resident assistants. And our resident assistants are a little extra support for you. So yes, they do program, but they're also trained to support you with any academic supports. They're trained to support you with maybe some mental health concerns. Maybe you're just needing some support. You're feeling a little lonely, a little overwhelmed from being so far. They're a really great resource to kind of help make you feel connected, bring you into the community, and remind you why you chose Lakehead to be your home away from home. With that safe zone, our resident assistants very much promote, support, and ensure that all of our resident spaces in Lakehead University is a safe zone. And what we mean by that is that everyone feels supported and included and comfortable to be their true authentic self, whatever that might be. And maybe that's something they can help support you with some of our amazing resources on campus, whatever resources might be.
Thanks, Michelle. That was really interesting, and you offered a lot of really useful information for everybody. I'd like to now address any student who is interested in joining me in the Orillia area at the Orillia campus. What you see in front of you here, if you haven't had the opportunity to visit our campus, is our residence building. There's one building on campus. It's a small campus. It's a very, everybody knows each other on campus because it is very small. So one of the nice things is living in residence. It's a 240 bed residence. So you'll get to know a lot of your other resident students and your new friends very quickly. About 40 students per floor. We have 7 stories in the building, and it's right across from Simcoe Hall. Simcoe Hall is the name of the hall where you'll do all of your studies and your classes and your labs, and it's just across the street. We don't see it in this picture. You'll see it a little later. All of the floors have what we call a common room, exactly what Michelle was describing in Thunder Bay. So in the common rooms, you just walk out your door, just go down the hall, and you can turn on the TV, you can watch sports, you can heat something up in the microwave. If you had a couple of dishes, a cup of coffee, there's a sink. And there's also a laundry room on every single floor. You would pay for your own laundry. You just have a card with you, your identification card, your student ID card. You top it up with any of funds that you'd like to do laundry. And on every single floor as well, if you just need to get out of your room for a little bit, but be quiet, there's also a quiet study room. So it's different from the common room. The quiet study room, we do ask everyone just to be quiet. So that is another opportunity for you. And in your room, so we're going to see some diagrams here. We'll see some real photos in just a minute. This is an aerial of the red is the bedspread. So what you're looking at there is a double bed. And you'll see that there's a connecting room on the other side. You just get a glimpse of another bed on the other side. But I want to reassure everybody and just explain that just when you rent a room and you apply to residence in Orillia, you have your own bedroom. There are no shared bedrooms, but you would and may share a bathroom. So you do have a sink in your private bedroom. You could wash your hands, get a glass of water, etc. And if you need to use a bathroom, there is a door going into the bathroom with the tub and shower, sink, and toilet. And if there is a student on the other side, you would be sharing the bathroom with one other person. And this year, if you have not already seen it on the website, if you'd like a private bathroom, we are offering a limited number of these spaces for the 2021-2022 academic year. So be sure to choose when you select your room if you'd like a shared bathroom space or a private bathroom space. And the private bathroom is a small additional fee. So here's a great picture for you. It's not all fancy and colorful the way that you'll make it because you'll make it your own, but you can see that the bed is a large double-sized bed, lots of study and desk space, lots of storage overhead for all of your books and drawers. There's drawers under the bed. There's a huge closet on the left-hand side that you can see the mirrored door. That's actually 3 doors for the closet. And you have a mini fridge as well. And we don't provide the towels, so it's just for this image. Bring your own towels, bring your own sheets, and bring your own comforter. And that's just a different view. You can see in this particular view, we're just looking north, and that's your sink. So that's where you can brush your teeth and wash your hands. So in your room, it's quite modern in Orillia. The residence building was built in 10 years ago, 2011. And as I mentioned, you would share your bathroom with one other person unless you choose a private bathroom option. We do have accessible rooms. So if you do need some accessibility, just please make sure to reach out. This is a shot of our common room, one of our common rooms. So this is obviously a pre-COVID picture, but the students can get together. You can join up with students that you don't know, students that you kind of know, and the students that you really, all of your friends. And but before long, you'll get to know everybody. That's what's great about our residents here. You can watch TV, you can make posters, and just hang out and have a great time. Residence life in Orillia is basically the same as in Thunder Bay. This is a shot outside of Simcoe Hall. Everybody's showing their colors. And residence life, as soon as you step out of your car and you are checking into on September, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd this year, you are going to be greeted by residence life staff. So that's another student, our RAs, our house presidents, myself, all the staff. We're going to be there to welcome you and show you to your room and get you checked in. And there's a lot of activity and a lot of great Lakehead's pride and spirit happening right from day one. The Residence Life team in Orillia, we're here to support you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from the day you move in to the day you move out. If you have somebody you need to talk to, you want to talk to, we have our RA staff. If you want to get involved with activities and go to play bingo, or hopefully we'll be able to do some tobogganing next winter. I don't even want to talk about winter, but we do a lot of sports, we do outdoor activities, we do indoor activities. And this is a great photo of your room. The other photo you saw was a little boring, but look how you can make it really look individualized. Bring your photos, bring your decorations, make it your own. Please don't put anything that could rip off the wallpaper, but really, you're going to feel really at home right away. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. That's so great. I love how the campuses, no matter choosing Thunder Bay or Orillia, that sense of home, community, belonging really is going to be universal across campuses. You're going to get a universal experience for the Res Life team. So just make sure you're choosing whichever is best fit for you. Meal plans in Thunder Bay. Everyone likes talking about food. We're going to dive in. We're going to talk about food because one thing's for sure, if you're living in res halls and you're on the mandatory meal plan, you will not be hungry. I can tell you that. And I know that sometimes people's fear of how much food are we allowed, what are we allowed, and we're going to look at, I think it's on the next slide actually, what actually is included with that mandatory meal plan. So when we talk about res halls, you'll see your fee is substantially larger than an apartment or a townhouse fee. That's because your meal plan cost is already included in that fee. So when you pay for residence, you're paying for your housing and you're paying for your activities and you're paying for your food. It's all included, and it's also an all you care to eat plan. So you can go into the residence cafeteria as many or as little times as you want each and every single day of the week. So 7 days a week. Our cafeteria is primarily a buffet style, or there's also multiple stations in our residence cafeteria. So you can get everything from salads, soups, sandwiches. There's a steam table, which does a rotating menu. So one night you may get an Asian inspired palette, and then the next night you go in and it's an Indian inspired palette. So we do have a rotational menu with food from all over the world. That really is an awesome experience to have when in Thunder Bay. $800 declining dollar balance. That goes onto your student card. So your student card becomes your access to the cafeteria, and it also becomes kind of like a little debit card where you can use at any Airmark provider on campus. We have a Starbucks on campus that it can work at, as well as the main cafeteria. And we have some online resources for you as well, where you can purchase items through Airmark through our Cater Tracks website. Here's a list of them. Like I said, COVID's kind of not allowed us to update some of the stuff. So Tim Hortons is not with us, but Starbucks is. So we have Starbucks here on campus, and you're going to find in our main cafeteria, they provide pizza, as well as some bento sushi, some Subway, and those are all the places where your declining balance can work. So you can use your declining balance to purchase that bento sushi. Grillworks has phenomenal like burgers and grill food, as well as you have unlimited access to the residence dining hall. So if you don't like where you see one place, you can just walk over. Again, it's right next door, and choose something off of a different menu.
Thanks, Michelle. So similar to my friends, my colleagues in Thunder Bay, we have a full meal plan for all of the resident students that live in the Orillia campus residence hall. It's automatically included with your residence fees. You do have the option. So again, when you're applying, please indicate, do you want the 5-day meal plan or a 7-day meal plan? There are 2 different prices, and the declining balance dollars vary a little bit depending on the plan. The 5-day plan, just to point out, is Monday to Friday. So you might be a student that might want to go home from time to time, or you have other plans for the weekend. That would be your first, probably your better plan. But most students, I do encourage you to choose the 7-day plan. It's more economical for you, and it gives you peace of mind. You don't have to worry about, oh, my card's not working today, it's Saturday, and don't worry about it. Just choose a 7-day plan, and then you're covered every single day for the entire year. And it is a all you care to eat program. You can walk in, you show your card, and you don't help yourself. We'll be serving you probably again, but we have a large variety of food. And there's one residence dining hall that is also open to all students as well as campus students, staff, and faculty. Both of our campuses, if you have a dietary need of any type, please let us know. Even if you're not sure, we should know. please let us know. We can try it. We will find, we will make sure that we have meals for you that accommodate your needs. We've listed a few on this slide, but we know that there's a lot of different needs out there, and we like to think that we can offer food for all of our students. So please share with us if there's something special that you might need so that we can make sure that we provide that for you. Important dates. Michelle, did you want to cover the what to bring?
Yeah, I think we have the important dates up too. I know that June 1st is our big important date that we're kind of highlighting and outlining for those high school students to be guaranteed residence. You have to have your application in along with your $500 down payment for your residence to be permitted that the housing option, because we do permit it for all high school students. It's June 1st. That's the date that I'm remembering, and that's the date that everyone else should remember as well. And now what to bring. So now you've decided it's before June 1st. After this, you're like, yes, my heart's here. This is where I'm going to go. This is what I need. I'm going to pack tomorrow. Just kidding. We don't do that, right? We'll put off till a little later, and then we'll realize what we need. If that's you and you're like, oh my goodness, I am packing and I'm leaving tomorrow, just remember we have stores in both Orillia and Thunder Bay as well. So you don't have to pack everything. Like I said, I flew up here with 2 suitcases. I can't fit everything in 2 suitcases. I went on a wonderful little shopping spree pre-planned. I hit my Staples to get school supplies. I hit Walmart to get a nice little memory foam on my bed after I tried my bed. That's the key to success. Don't assume you're going to need all these things. Come check out your space. Check out your space in Orillia. But here is a list of things that we have compiled together for what you should be bringing or what we should want you to consider to bring, right? Like Lynn said, we don't provide those bedding for you. I'm not going to read through this whole list, but basically it's everything that is your personal essentials that's not furniture wise. If you're a coffee drinker and you're like, I want to have coffee even though I can go to the cafeteria, you can have a coffee maker in your room as long as it has an automatic shut off in it. You're encouraged to bring anything you need for school, like your laptops, your chargers, all of those things, important documents, and pictures. Lynn mentioned making the room your own. We definitely encourage individuality with all of your spaces. We provide you with big bulletin boards. So bring those little trinkets from home that really make that space yours. Now, what not to bring. If you want the whole list, and I encourage everyone before coming to residence, either campus, to read through our residence community standards, and that will give you a full list of items that are not prohibited on our campuses. But here's kind of the short list. So candles are not a thing. If you like nice smells and smelly things, there's other options that you can have out there. Furniture, we provide it for you, right? If you're in the res halls, we're providing even the mini fridge in your room. For apartments and townhouses, they come fully furnished. You just need to bring your own pots and pans and the little items. Heaters, we have heating. You don't need to bring it. Yes, sometimes Thunder Bay has the tendency to have the reputation to be cold. We'll make sure that the heat is on. Large stereos, you do have neighbors. Headphones are great sometimes too, but you might want to bring a smaller one because maybe you're playing beach volleyball out in the back and you want to have some music while you're playing. So bring a speaker, and maybe not the biggest speaker that you have. And Lynn mentioned not peeling off the tape. We provide poster stickies for you to put up posters and make the room yourselves. And then all pets except fish. We do not permit pets here on campus in residence, but you are able to have a fish up to a 30-liter tank as long as it is non-dangerous.
Awesome, thanks guys. So lots of good information there around all things residence. We're going to get into the Q&A portion of the presentation here in a sec, but for those of you that do have questions, either residence related or non-residence related, a really great resource to start is our Student Central office. Student Central at Lakehead is a one-stop shop for students. And essentially from the day you apply to the day you graduate, you'll be working with our student central advisors for everything from applying for financial aid, so things like scholarships, awards, and bursaries, course registration, which is a big one coming up in June, career services, student success, accessibility services as well. They coordinate with our Indigenous Initiatives Office. So all things related to you as a current student goes through the Student Central office. So if you do have questions, feel free to visit the website. There's some really good resources around things like course registration and applying for scholarships and financial aid, and kind of those next steps that you guys can look at in the next couple months, as well as accepting your offer of admissions. So a good website to check out now. If you do have questions, they have office hours Monday to Friday from 8:30 till 4:30 p.m. And I'll get Jess to maybe post the telephone number in the chat. Just if you guys have more questions, you can always give them a call during office hours. But we're here to help, and a great resource for all things Lakehead related.
And Aaron, while we're going off of connecting with us and where you can find some resources, I'm also going to throw in our residents' Instagram profiles. Residents in Thunder Bay right now, we've just started our spring summer session. So we're programming and still providing all of our resources, and you can even check out the Orillia page as well for some virtual tours of what our campuses look like. And you're seeing some of the faces behind the Instagram profiles that'll answer those questions as well.
Yeah, that's perfect, and appreciate you mentioning that. It's great to follow all of our social media accounts just to kind of stay up to date. And if you do have kind of some specific questions, you can always contact our panelists here in residence as well. So we'll maybe get you guys to post the residents' contact info in the chat if you haven't already. So that's awesome. In terms of kind of checking things out, we would love to have everybody on campus for our in-person campus tour programs. Obviously, we're not allowed to do that right now, but we hope to return to in-person campus tours here as soon as we're able to. The next best thing would be our virtual tour program. So we're actually running virtual campus tours every day of the week. You can do them directly through our lakeheadu.ca website, but we also have live virtual campus tours that we're running as well. So you can actually sign up for a designated day and time slot, and our campus tour guides will take you through the entire Lakehead, Orillia, or Thunder Bay campus, running through our virtual campus tour program. So it's a little bit more interactive. You can kind of ask our tour guides questions as you go through the campus tour, learn a little bit more about the campus directly from our campus tour guides. And like I said, the next best thing in terms of campus tours. So feel free to register for a live version or to do your own self-guided virtual tour through our website. That includes residents. Last thing, ways to stay connected. So if you do have questions, residents related or non-residents related, feel free to visit our websites, and you can book an appointment with myself or Jess and some of our other recruitment staff members. We're here to help you guys. We're here to support. And we take one-on-one booking appointments Monday to Friday as well. So there is an online booking system, which is on the website on the screen, but I know Jess will post it in the chat as well. So feel free to book a one-on-one appointment with us if you do have more questions after this evening, and we'd love to stay connected and answer your questions. We already mentioned social media. We're getting right at the end here, so we're going to open up kind of the Q&A portion of the presentation, but if you haven't already, follow us at My Lakehead for all of our social media accounts to stay connected on upcoming events and all things Lakehead. So we'll leave it there in terms of the kind of the formal portion of the presentation, but we appreciate everybody joining us here tonight for our residents webinar. I know Shannon and the panelists have been kind of answering some of those questions that have been coming in through the Q&A, but I'm going to kind of act as moderator here because I do see a few questions left in the chat. So if you do have questions and you haven't asked them yet, feel free to drop them in, and we're happy to answer those in the next kind of 10 to 15 minutes here as we wrap up. And for the panelists, I'll kind of open up the Q&A and we'll maybe run through some of these questions that we have. So again, for those of you that are popping off, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here tonight. We hope to see you in September as well, and definitely stay in touch. But like I said, feel free to ask away for those of you that are still on and do have those pressing questions. So let me take a quick peek at our Q&A, and I'll dig up some softball questions for you. The first one is around residents move-in day, which I think we mentioned earlier, but I can't remember. Could each of you maybe mention what the residents move-in day for Orillia and Thunder Bay is?
It's, I just double checked it as well. It's September the 2nd. It's Thursday, September the 2nd. It's the same day for both campuses.
Yeah, and what move-in day looks like is you're gonna arrive first thing in the morning. We'll give you what time that opens up, and you're gonna be greeted, whether on Thunder Bay or Orillia campus, with Res Life staff in blue shirts, ready to help out, ready to make that connection right from the start. And they're gonna direct you where to go to get your keys, help you to your room, and that's really when the resident support starts. As soon as you pull up on campus, whatever way that might be.
Awesome, thanks guys. The next question is around how many people are on a floor in Thunder Bay Res and how many bathrooms per floor?
Can I answer one? I haven't answered one yet.
It's all you.
Well, actually, I've been answering them all, but I mean, my fingers are sore.
That's right.
That's a good question. In Thunder Bay, Bartley houses have between 10 and 12 students per floor. There's 2 washrooms on each floor. Currently, there are a male washroom and a female washroom with 2 fixtures per washroom. So there's 2 sinks, 2 toilets, 2 showers on each side. So basically, you're sharing a washroom with anywhere from usually 5 to 6 people at the most. Do you ever wait for a shower? Maybe formal night, maybe after res sports. Not everyone showers before class. Not everyone showers, but we're working on that. But we're trying to, make that happen. But no, that's what it is. 32 people in a Bartley house total.
Awesome. Thanks, Shannon. And can you guys maybe, I mean, I know the answer to this, but what's public transit like at both campuses for students? Obviously, students living in res may or may not have a vehicle. So what are the options for transit for maybe students living in residence?
We'll start off with the Thunder Bay campus. Right on campus is one of our central bus locations. You actually get a variety of buses that go on to both sides of the city of Thunder Bay, and Lakehead's kind of surrounded right in the middle. So it's really convenient, it's really accessible, and that bus pass is part of that tuition fee. And Aaron, you can correct me if I'm wrong with that, but it's kind of one of those things that's integrated into your fees here at Lakehead.
Yeah, exactly. The transit's nice with both cities. It's, in terms of amenities kind of off campus, you're 5-10 minutes away from, big box stores like you said, in terms of Walmart and the mall and grocery stores and the pharmacy and the downtown core. Both campuses are very centrally located within the city, but they're not right downtown. So it's nice. You have your own kind of secluded campus environment. And if you want to get off campus, you're literally like 5-10 minutes away from all the amenities within the city. And the bus comes to the front door of the Orillia residence every half hour to 40 minutes. And the main bus stop on campus in Thunder Bay, like a 5-minute walk from your res building, is the same. So nice and accessible. And you guys will, I'm sure, meet friends and residents that have vehicles. So make sure you connect with a few of them, and you can always carpool to get off campus and see the sights, go down to the lake, or head out to some of the provincial parks. So good question. We do have a question around kind of parking passes, which I think Jess is answering. I'm just seeing a few of you typing answers to some of these questions. So let me just scroll down here. I've got a question around deposits. So the residence deposit is $500. When is the deposit due? And what's the best way to make that payment?
Okay, I'll answer that one. So the deposit, the quicker that you apply to residence and place your deposit, the sooner that we can allocate your room. So if your heart is set on a certain type of residence room, whether it be in Orillia, one of those rooms with a private washroom, or whether it be in Thunder Bay as a single or a basic single, the sooner you do that, the better. You can make that deposit through any of your online banking, and it's a $500 deposit. It is non-refundable, except in the case where if your classes turn out to be all online, then what will happen is that $500 would be allocated to tuition or other fees. But so that, yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Thanks, Shannon. Okay, scrolling down here to the next one. And this is a question that I get pretty commonly from students that have a friend maybe from their own high school or in the community that are going up to Lakehead with them. How do you apply to have your best friend or a relative, your cousin's going to Lakehead? How do you apply to residents to have them on your floor or right next to you in terms of residence rooms in both campuses?
Well, that's a good question, Aaron. This is the first year actually that we're moving more towards students will select their own rooms. And so if you and your friend are interested in living in the same house on the same floor, and we do get that a lot. I mean, let's face it, university is a scary thing and it's new. And if you have a chance to go away together with a friend, I think that's a great opportunity. You get to meet other people as well as you have that connection from home, either down the hall or beside you. What you would do is you would say on Tuesday, let's apply to residence, let's pay our down payment, and then you'll both be sent an email to your Lakehead University account, and then you can select your room. So let's say you wanted to be in Geraldton 3rd floor, boom, you could pick Geraldton 3rd floor. So that's how that would work.
Awesome, thanks, Shannon. So let's take a peek through here. So in terms of the applying to residence, do all students get placed automatically in those dorm style residences, or I just have a student asking around if students are placed in the first year residences. So I know in Orillia, Lynn, you mentioned that all the rooms are exactly the same. So when you apply to the Orillia campus, you're applying for basically the same room unless you're applying for your own private washroom, which you mentioned. But maybe for Shannon and the Thunder Bay staff, if you want to clarify applying to resident styles for first year.
Yeah, so all of our rooms, we're very fortunate that all of our rooms are actually single rooms. So you're not going to have a roommate. So you're going to have two choices of room. You can have your basic single room, which is a little bit smaller, which Michelle explained to you a little bit earlier tonight, and you have your single room. And so those are the types of rooms that you have available to you. If you're coming from high school, if you are somebody who is either a little bit older or somebody who maybe took a year off, or if somebody who is in second, third, fourth, fifth year, whatever you are in, or a transfer student, then you have the option to live in the townhouses or the apartments. And like Michelle said earlier, like that's one really great advantage here in the Thunder Bay campus is that you live in your res halls, you live in Bartley your first year, and then you find 3 other people and you get to meet and you decide you're going to live together in a townhouse or an apartment, and you could live there the whole time. So you don't have to worry about lugging furniture back and forth. You don't have to worry about spending money on a lease if you're going to be like at home for the summer. You can pay for your 8 months and only be here for 8 months, and it's really a nice peace of mind that you have. As well as, like Michelle said, it's like a little bit of taste of living off campus with the security and comfort and convenience of living on.
Perfect, thanks, Shannon. And kind of looking at the next one, we've kind of talked a little bit about this, but is there the questions around if there's ways to kind of get to know your future neighbors or students living in a residence prior to kind of move-in day? So are there any are there Facebook pages available where students can join and maybe interact with kind of future students, maybe talk about orientation, kind of that first week before classes start? Maybe that might be something to touch on as well.
I'll turn that over to Michelle, who could probably go into a lot more detail.
Sure.
Yeah, we try and make those connections before students come to campus. Typically, we've had a Facebook group where those conversations start. This year, we did have some communities that opted into the Instagram as more of it. That's more when you arrive here. You can't really have that chat feature for it. But as soon as you have those communities selected and you know where you will be living, your residence life staff will create those spaces, virtual spaces for you to kind of connect. And we reach out to My Lakehead for any of those bigger groups for class intakes and things like that, to really get those Facebook links out there for you to reach out to. But you're always welcome to search it. It won't be until later in the summer. So we're looking around the August time frame of when you can start looking to connect with students before you move up.
Awesome, thanks guys. I just see a couple questions left here, and I know Shannon and Jess are answering a few as we speak. This might be a quick rapid fire one for you guys. In Thunder Bay, is there transit from the airport for students moving into residence, or would it just be kind of the local transit for students getting to campus?
Yeah, most students, they take a local what's called U-Ride, a local service, or one of the local taxis. There is also a bus that you can take from the airport to campus, but it takes a significant amount of time. It's about, what would you say? It's about a $30 cab ride from the airport to campus. And it takes about like less than 15 minutes. It's a pretty quick ride.
Once you've made those connections, because campus is so small, like smaller, and the communities are smaller, you'll probably start to recognize some of those students that also live in residence. So if you're going home for the winter holiday and you come back, you might even see people you recognize to kind of share that cab, or you might be on the same flight as a friend. So ride sharing becomes very popular here, as most people who are coming to Thunder Bay during those peak travel times will have someone else also waiting for a cab for the same reason.
Awesome, thanks guys. And I see a little bit of activity in the chat, which I'll check in a second just to make sure we haven't missed any questions, but we've come to the last question in the Q&A. So again, we've got maybe a couple minutes left for some last minute questions for those of you that have a few popping into mind, but like we said, feel free to book a one-on-one appointment with us after this evening if you want to chat more, and we're happy to go into more detail about all things Lakehead as well. So the last question is a little bit non-res related. It's just more around class delivery and when students will know how the fall semester will be delivered for their program. Something we're obviously continuing to evaluate kind of daily, but week to week here at Lakehead. We did announce about a month ago that we will be planning to return to in-person program delivery for all of our programs here at Lakehead. Obviously, there's a lot of variables with that as we continue to work through the pandemic and how that's impacting post-secondary, but we are planning to return to campus for our fall semester in September. So the best place to check information on all things program delivery related would be your Lakehead email, as well as the Lakehead COVID-19 page, which I'm sure Jess is posting in the chat here. We have a designated webpage that has details around how your program will be delivered, information about campus safety and protocols. There's a whole section for students specifically where you can learn a little bit more about it as well. Any updates that come down will be posted on that website immediately, and you guys will also get notification through your Lakehead email about any updates or changes related to your program. So I know it's a tough situation, obviously. We would love to be able to know, exactly what's going to happen on September 7th or 8th, whenever we're starting classes this year, but hopefully we'll have a little bit more information in the not too distant future. Course registration doesn't open up for the fall until June. So you do have another couple months here to start to plan for course registration, but obviously in terms of course delivery for the fall as well. So keep it on your Lakehead email. You guys will get some notifications from Student Central around some webinar series we're running called FastPass 101. FastPass is a webinar specifically for incoming students to learn about course registration, program requirements, and everything kind of related to. So definitely sign up for a FastPass webinar in June. And like I said, keep an eye on our website and email for details about course delivery, and we hope to see you guys in the fall. Last question, I see one here around the Orillia bookstore. So Lynn, the question's around if the declining balance can be used in Orillia at the gift shop or the bookstore. Where would you use a declining balance in Orillia if possible?
Yeah, so we are, I don't know, again, if the students are familiar with the campus. So we have what we call the kiosk in Simcoe Hall. So if you happen to be in Simcoe Hall going to a class and you're running late, or you want to stay there and you want to study, you can just go to the Simcoe Hall kiosk and use your dollars there. We also have, of course, the meal plan, but we will have specialty items as well. So if a student would like to choose some of the specialty items, they can use their declining balance dollars for those specialty items. And of course, you have girlfriends, boyfriends, partners, family, friends coming to visit, hopefully, fingers crossed. And you can certainly treat all of your friends if you like to use your dollars to treat them to a meal as well. And the bookstore at the moment is not part of the declining balance system.
Great, thanks, Lynn. So I'm just looking at the clock here, and we're right at 8 o'clock, which is perfect. I think we'll kind of leave it there for the Q&A portion this evening. Like I said, feel free to follow us on social media, check our upcoming events page for more webinars in the next coming kind of couple weeks, and make sure you register for some of our Fast Pass webinars in June, so you can get some information around course registration and next steps. But we'll leave it here for this evening. I want to thank all the students for joining us, and parents and family members that are on the webinar with us here tonight as well. Thanks to our residents panelists and Jess for feverishly working the chat and Q&A and answering, I think I saw over 100 some odd questions there. So it's been a busy night, and we appreciate you guys taking time to join us, learn a little bit more about the Lakehead experience and residence life, and hopefully we'll see some of our future Thunderwolves in September. Have a great night, everybody. Stay safe. And like I said, hopefully we'll see some of you in September. Best of luck. Thanks again.